I want to thank Michael for giving us this time to share our experience with you. But I'd like to start by apologizing to all of you that we have to speak in English. But I also want to use this opportunity to kind of explain to you the difference between invite and demand. I wasn't invited to give this presentation. I was demanded to give this presentation. But we'll be more than happy to oblige. And good evening to AVER Media, all the other global offices. I hope that you guys can hear me well. I used to say that for every 1 hour of presentations, you need to prepare at least 50 hours of materials. Another apology to all of you. We really don't have that much time. We're all very busy in the month of November, but we're going to try our best to share with you our experience and hopefully give you enough inspirations and idea to come out with your own solutions. And for my material is a little bit of a recycle. So I apologize to some of you who have heard this before. Just bear with me. The reason why I also demanded Charlie and Ted, because I'm not a salesperson. But for my 30 years of career, I worked with a lot of salespeople. So I have some opinion and some experience in judging what's the secret to sales success. But I think that it's only fair for you to hear a different opinion from the real salespeople and the sales leader, Charlie and Ted. With that said, today what we want to share with all of you is the secret. What's the secret to sales success? Honestly, there's no right or wrong answer, right? It's very different from case to case. But hopefully we will be able to give you some experience. Some of you, such as Kings, you have to hire a lot of salespeople, sales leader. For Joseph, you're the CTO. You might have some opinion about the salespeople. Our objective today is to give you some of our experience, hopefully to inspire you to make your division better in the future. And with that said, let's start with, say, show. I will repeat it for other people so that we don't have to pass the microphone around. When you hire a salesperson, what kind of quality would you be looking for? That's okay, I can repeat it for, okay, sorry.
I think the patience.
Patience. Very good. Yeah. Kings, what kind of quality would you be looking for from a salesperson in order for him or her to be successful for your business?
Sure, I want my sales to sell more of our products.
Okay.
And get more revenue and more money.
No problem. Thank you. Alvin, welcome back. Right? You are the smartest dude in R&D.
Yeah.
How do you judge whether a person is a good salesperson or not?
Of course, I hope that he can sell our product very well.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So I need to ask one more person because I'm looking for one keyword and nobody's talking about it. I'm going to have to try. There's no salesperson here. Stanley, you have worked with many salespeople. What kind of quality would you be looking for? Is it hardworking? Is it smart? Is it good in relationship? Good with people?
I think that good relationship.
All right. So since nobody answered that question, so I have to keep asking. And thank you, Stanley. Common wisdom say, in order to be a good salesperson, he or she needs to be very good in relationship. Charlie and Ted will tell you exactly that. Today, I want to share with you selling is not about relationship. And basically, it's not my original idea. Harvard Business Review printed that article about 5 years ago, and it's a book, New York bestseller book, written by the executive at CEB Consultant. And it's been very popular in the United States, especially for a big company. So I want to use this opportunity to share with you. Now, hopefully after I'm done with that, you have some idea about what challenger sales is all about. It's not about relationship. And then follow up with my presentations. Charlie's going to come out and say, no. Selling is still about relationship. All right? So we are going to contradict each other today. And let you decide yourself. Who is right, who is wrong? Maybe all of us are wrong, maybe all of us is right. No right or wrong answer, but hopefully information for you. And then Ted is going to close the presentations with saying that, yeah, maybe relationship important. But guess what? My 23 years at HP is all about sales process. All right? So we, again, are going to contradict ourselves. Okay? All right, before I go on any further, I want to use this opportunity to introduce the CEB. CEB is a consultant. So just so that you guys know, this article is not coming from nowhere. CEB is actually I use a past tense, was a very large consulting company. They did about over $1 billion in sales, and over 80% of their clients are Fortune 1000 companies. And they are so successful, Gartner decided to buy them back in 2017 for $2.6 billion. That's very expensive for a consultant company, just because they want to buy their client list. They have Fortune 1000, including Fortune 100 clients, consulting those big boss how to pick talents and train talents. So this is not from nobody. Harvard Business Review will not print an article from nobody. This is a very proven and very popular, actually, concept. So I just want to use this opportunity to introduce CEB. They're no longer a company because Gartner bought them in 2017. Okay? All right. Let's start with why salespeople. Can anybody figure out why? All right, let me start with my own sales team. Charlie, why do we need salespeople? You know, from the R&D point of view, Joseph and I, we used to talk about it. We build the best product. We don't need salespeople. Why the hell do you need salespeople? Can you give me a 30-second answer, in your opinion?
Because somebody has to go out, explain the product, teach the product, and promote the product.
Andy, our president, do you agree?
Agree. I think the R&D made even they made the best products, but if the our customer didn't know about it, it's in vain.
Thank you all. Like I said, there's no right or wrong. But according to this company, they did the research. Again, they have over 6,000 big company clients. Okay? Key drivers for brand loyalty. Company and brand impact is only 19%. Service, we love to talk about USA's best service company, only 19%. Your price performance, 9%. Sales experience, 53% of the reason why customers are loyal to the brand. And in this experience is exactly some of the factors Charlie touched earlier. They need sales to offer them the unique, valuable perspective on the market. They need help to navigate the alternative. Some company has 100 different SKU, like Polycom, of yesteryear. They need rep to help them. And they need rep to educate them on new issues, outcomes. And most importantly, these two, basically, U.S. office have tried really hard to make sure we achieve it. It's easy to buy from. That's extremely important. If a customers want to buy a product from us, we want their experience to be as easy as possible. I am a diehard Amazon customer. It's not because Amazon has the best price. I don't care about Amazon price anymore. It's because it's so easy to buy from Amazon. I click on it, it will arrive tomorrow morning. That's how scary Amazon is. And that's the brand loyalty. And another one, we need to have a widespread support. It cannot be just a sales. Tech support, after sales, pre-sales. This is the reason why we hire salespeople. And according to this article and this research, there are 5 types of salespeople. I would love to ask more questions, but my time is very limited, so I'm going to go through it real quick. The first type of sales is what we call the relationship builders. What they do is they release or lessen the tension. Because sometimes the customers and the supplier, they don't agree. Salespeople need this relationship builder. They're very good in building relationship. But they just stop there. Their ability is just building the relationship. That's how they categorize this category. The second type is what they call the hard workers. They come in early, they leave late, they work really, really hard. Okay? And then the third type is called lone wolves. We saw that a lot at Troxel, one of our channel partners. The salespeople couldn't care less about the CEO, the president, the CFO, or the company. They don't give a damn because they know they're good. You have to hire them. You have a lot of those salespeople in the United States. I don't know about in Asia, but you have a lot of those salespeople in the United States. They're good, but they're also lone wolf. And the fourth type is what they call the problem solvers. They react. The customers call and complain, they solve the problem immediately. But that's all they do. They are more reactive. And the fifth kind this book introduced is what they call the challengers. They don't mind having friction and tension with the customers. They drive the conversation with the customers. They educate the customers what the customers need, rather than just follow what the customers ask them to do. Those belongs to relationship builders. Those belongs to problem solvers. They solve customers' problem. Customers call them. They react immediately, but they don't teach customers anything. So they categorize sales into those 5 types. I think for a lot of you running the business, either business unit or a team, this is important because I kind of agree with them. I do agree you can categorize the sales people into 5 major groups. All right? So if you agree with the book so far, well, this is basically, I think the most extreme between challenger and relationship is this 2. I'm not going to go into the details, but in the biggest difference between relationship builder is they reduce customer tension. So that means that they are yes man or yes woman to customers. They say yes to the customers, whatever the customers want. Charlie, just to share a secret with all of you, Charlie used to make fun of EDU sales in US. Sorry, Charlie. He told me, that's many, many years ago when Ty was still around. He said, Arthur, your EDU sales, they only know how to sell price. They don't even know how to disagree with the customers. Turns out he's right after all. Right? Even though Charlie is going to say relationship is everything, he is actually the best definition of challenger. Because you know what? Challenger, they teach customers. They tailor the needs for the customers. And they control, to a certain extent, what the customer should buy. And that's basically what Charlie needs to do, because for our USB camera, it's 20% more expensive than Logitech. For our EP65 all-in-one solutions, it's, I don't know, $2,000 more expensive than the D10. If you listen to the customers, say yes to the customers, you're going to come back and say, Kings, I need a lower price. He didn't do that. That's basically the biggest difference between the challenger and the relationship builder. Now, Knowing this difference, who do you think will win, Joseph? Sounds like obvious answers, right? But it's not. My time is running out, so I'm going to go through it real quick. It depends on what product we're selling. If we are selling a low complexity product, for example, if I'm going to sell this mouse, nothing to explain. Actually, the winner, you better hire a bunch of harder workers. We experienced that. We're selling charging card. It's a product that explains itself. You don't need to explain anything. It's an accessory. It's a component. You're just saying that how much. You need to hire a lot of salespeople that's hardworking. They might not even need to speak good English or good Chinese, as long as they work hard, because in that market, the sales is so low complexity, you just need people to work hard to get leads, get deals done. I agree with this. And guess what? Obviously, the topic of the book is selling is not about relationship. So either low complexity or high complexity, relationship builder always the rock bottom. I think Ted may have some disagreement with that, but we're going to let him talk about it a little bit more. But for the high complexity sales, such as selling the solutions for video conferencing, unified collaborations, I agree. You need a salesperson, a sales team who understand the industry, who understand the product and solution they're selling. Otherwise, when they show up in front of the customers, they don't sound professional at all. They would be a bunch of pushover. Meaning that customers would demand them to drop the price, do this, do that, and they have no ability to really educate the customers why they need to buy our products even though it's 20% more expensive. Does it make sense? I agree with it so far. I think Charlie also agree with it, even though he has to defend. Selling is all about relationship. But this finding is not about denouncing relationship. It just says that's more important than just relationship. So I hope that this information allow you to understand and also give you idea when you hire the sales team, sales leader, and build up the sales team. You need to first define what is it that you're selling. If you're selling a laptop, you probably just need a hard worker, right? But if you're selling a solution like the EVC, you need somebody who actually understands what they're selling. Okay, to close my presentations, I want to show a 2-minute video. The author and executive director of the former CEB, and tell you the 3 attributes of the challenger. And there you go.
So we like to talk about, there are a number of attributes that factor together statistically to describe the challenger profile. One of the things we're very careful about is not to lay claim to having invented challengers per se. What we did was document what best salespeople are out there doing already. Now we've tried to lend a bit of a story to what we see in the data. And the 3 things specifically we see in the data, and our members and our clients would concur with this interpretation, is that challengers really do 3 things that are different from the average performing salesperson. First, they teach the customer something that new. They show up with new ideas to make money, to save money, to mitigate risk, to steal market share, to engage employees, to engage customers. Whatever the key outcome is that your company is striving to deliver for your customers, they show up with those new ideas and bring those ideas to the table. And they're often ideas that the customer themselves haven't thought of before. Second, they're able to tailor those messages. So they don't just teach a message or an insight. They tailor it depending on who's sitting across the table. And we know today is a world of consensus buying. B2B selling is a game of herding cats at some level. The more people who are involved in a sale, the more a salesperson needs to actually tailor that message to make it resonate at a personal, emotional level with that stakeholder sitting across the table. And the third thing that challengers do that's very different is that they're assertive, or they take control, as we say in the book. We don't mean that they're pushy or aggressive or obnoxious, and we think that's a big misinterpretation that people have when they hear the term challenger. They think of that old kind of used car salesman notion of the salesperson. Really what we're talking about here, though, is professional, respectful, holding your ground. It's not about being passive and doing whatever the customer wants, nor is it about being aggressive and doing whatever you want. It's a comfortable middle ground where we can use tension to our advantage to get the customer to really rethink core assumptions of their business, to get them to see that when we're bringing a disruptive solution to the table, that the pain of same is actually worse than the pain of change. So again, teaching, tailoring, and taking control are the three things that we see challengers do very differently from average reps.
Well, thank you. That's it for my part. I'm going to pass the mic to Charlie. It's the head of our SIU business in the United States. Charlie?
Thank you, Arthur. Let me first say Arthur cheated. And I'll say he cheated because I would argue true relationship building is a challenger. It really is. Somebody who's looking to build relationships, you're supposed to challenge your customers. You're supposed to teach your customers. So I'd challenge you on that because I've been through this presentation 4 times in my career, and I think it's a great presentation for anybody who's ever wanted to see it. But I like using quotes that don't come from me. So when I think of relationship building for myself, I think it's about setting the right expectations for customers, right? When I talk to a customer today, I want to build certain expectations in them that they can then trust me and believe me on. So I'll use Sir Richard Branson. The key is to set realistic customer expectations and then not just meet them, but to exceed them, preferably in unexpected and helpful ways. The one part of this that I love, helpful ways. That doesn't mean it's a one-sided relationship. It means it's two-sided. We're trying to help the customer meet their needs and understand how to better work. So for me, when I look at sales today, I really try to go into every opportunity that I have with a customer and not just sell them an item today. I want to be able to go back to that customer next week, next month, next year, 3 years from now. Arthur will tell you, video conferencing in the US is a cult. He says it's a cult because everybody knows everybody, and everybody talks to everybody. And it's the truth. The reason why is because we all trust each other. We all understand the people that are going to tell us the truth, and we know the people that are going to lie to us. And because of that, we have a very small group of people that work extremely well. That's relationship building. For me, relationship building comes down to one word: trust. Does your customer trust you? Because your product is going to fail. Your product is going to fail at some point in time. It's going to happen. A product's going to go bad. Software didn't work. The executive boardroom went down. Your product is going to fail. Do they trust you enough to let you fix it? Or are they going to kick you out and never talk to you again? That's what a relationship is there for. When you build relationships with customers, you can go talk to them over and over and over again. I'll use an example from my career. The Grammys. Anybody ever seen the Grammys on TV where they have all the music awards? When I was at Life Size 7 years ago, I sold them $1 million in video conferencing equipment. $1 million. I sold them over 30 endpoints. I sold them 2 bridges, and I sold them a lot of software. I saw the CTO of the Grammys my 3rd month at AVER. And when I jumped on a video conference call, he laughed at me. He said, "Wait a second. You're going to sell me again from another company, Charlie? You were here just 5-6 years ago. Sold me $1 million worth of equipment. And now you're going to talk to me about Zoom and AVER?" I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "Good, let's talk." Because I never lied to him about the product. I never ran away from any issues that we had. I built a relationship with him to where he could trust me. He knew I was not going to come in and just tell him a bunch of fairy tales, tell him a bunch of lies. He trusted me enough to give me the time to let me talk to him about AVER. And by the way, the Grammys now have AVER and Zoom. That's what relationships do for you. That's what relationships allow you to do. Arthur will say, when I first came to AVER, I was able to walk into companies that never talked to AVER before because they knew me. Walter's one of them. He's going to do $2 million with us this year, right? I can walk into companies because of those relationships that I've built and that trust. And trust has a lot of things to it. I got to know my product. I got to understand my product. I got to understand my customers' needs. That's how you build trust. If I just walk in and put a PowerPoint presentation down and ask them to read it, where's the trust? Where's David at? David came to us at a couple meetings in California last week. And the one thing that he got a kick out of, he said, you never used a PowerPoint. You walked in, you sat down, and everybody just started talking. I said, of course. That's how you build a relationship with them. You find out what they need. You find out what they want. You find out what's going on in their business. Once I know that, I can tell you about my product. I don't need a product deck. They might not need all my products, but I got to talk to them first. I got to know what they want. I got to know what they need. When you start doing that, when you start having those types of conversations about their business, that's when you're really building relationships. That's when they can come back and trust you. And that's when you can go, hey, you know what? My product failed. It had a problem. That's fine. Trust me, we're going to fix it. We're going to work with you to take care of it. That's why relationships are so, so important. I always tell people, don't lie to your customers. They're going to find out. Don't make false claims. They're going to figure it out. You can never hide from your product. You'll never hide from the truth. The truth is going to come out. The sooner you tell them about it, the better off you are. One last thing I'll say. A lot of those relationships that I have are so strong because I'm very direct with my customers and my partners. I'm very direct. If I can do something, I can do something for you. If I can't, I can't. I'm honest with them about it. On the same side, if they're mistaken, if they made a mistake, I'm honest with them about that as well. And this is where I say Arthur kind of cheated a little bit. No relationship builder is ever just a yes person. If they are, they're the wrong type of relationship builder. They're the wrong type of relationship builder. Because that relationship will fail the minute there's a true problem. A relationship builder is going to sit down and be able to work with a customer on the hard times and the good times. They're going to have patience and understanding with that customer. When that customer sees that, they will give you all the room in the world to make mistakes, to fail, as long as you keep explaining, here's what we're doing. Let them know what the process is. So that's why I feel relationships are still without a doubt key. Without a doubt key for AVER to continue to grow and sell our product line that we have today, and for almost any product line that's out there. So with that, thank you. I appreciate the time, and I'll turn it over to Ted.
Hello, I'm Ted Pepping. For those that don't know me, with AVER, I celebrated my 10th year this year with AVER. Feels pretty good. That was me to me. But I'm going to talk to you about the sales process. Prior to AVER, I was at Hewlett-Packard for over 23 years. As one of their sales executives, I managed a team of 76 people, focused sales managers and sales reps, and my annual revenue with HP was $756 million. So we closed a lot of deals. I was focused on Fortune 100 companies for Hewlett-Packard. So we focused on all the big companies, trying to sell lots of product. I know, Arthur. I'm just going to skip through a little bit. I have 15 minutes, so I'm going to go through some of my slides quickly to make sure I have the important stuff for you. But what's important about the sales process, before I get into this, I want to let you know, we Ted Pepping, Hewlett-Packard, use the sales process religiously. On all deals, we talk about where you at in the sales process, where are you going, how you get from point A to point B, and what are the steps. HP invested in a lot of training in the sales process. I'm going to go through it in 15 minutes for you, so hang in there. I'll try to go slow, but clearly it gives you a way to go from the inception or the idea to the closure of a sale and all the different ways to do it. It tells you how to move a customer through it and also how to make sure you're moving yourself correctly through each step. It's really important you have all the data you need to get to the next level, and your customer believes and trusts you, as Charlie talked about, to let you get to the next level with them. You need to get commitment from your customer at every step, saying, okay, we'll go through each of them right now. I've done this, you have this, I have this information, I'd like to do this. Is this something we can move forward with? And they'll normally say yes if you've done your homework. It does help you win deals. It really, really works. So this is a poster I had at Hewlett-Packard. What's that? No, oh, sorry. Thank you, Charlie. No, it should be okay. This is my favorite picture. So the poster that you're going to see here in a minute, I had that in my office at Hewlett-Packard. It's in my office today at AVER. This is the sales process. It's a little bit complex because there are so many large deals we had to go through, and there's some things here that you wouldn't have to do in a normal deal, but there are some deals that do require it. So this, don't let this scare you. I've kind of broken it down into pretty much some easy steps for you. So number one is prospecting. If you're selling anything, you have to find the right customer that has a need for your product. If you don't do that, you're wasting everybody's time. You need to make sure that you know where your product is a great success, what part of the market, and who in the market needs it. You've got to start with what the basics are and where you're a good fit and where your go-to-market strategy is and how it works. And then it's all about finding prospects. So how do you do it? Advertising, speaking engagements, social media, cold calling, mailings. The most important thing on this whole list is referrals. If you have a customer referral and you have a good customer referral and they'll stand behind you and go after customers, all that is a false place. There's no better reference than a customer saying, they do great stuff, they took great care of me, they have great products. The next part of this, next step is the opportunity. You need to understand the opportunity and the customer's needs. And so what I have up here, understand what is a win. We used to call it, what is the customer's home run? What is the customer looking to do, and how do you meet it and exceed it? It's really important. You also need to know what's the decision and approval process. How are they going to make that decision? Who's going to make that decision? There's something called buying influences. You've all been involved in deals. There's a decision maker, but there's also influencers throughout the company. These are the people that whisper in other people's ears saying, this is good stuff, I like it, I've tested. You need to know who those people are. You need to know the time frame they're looking to go. You need to know who you're competing with and how you're going to compete against them. You also need to leverage your strength, but most important on all this is an internal coach. I don't know if you've ever heard that before or you use it. Your internal coach at your customer site is the person that's going to give you the inside information that you're not going to get anywhere else if they don't trust you. Your internal coach is the person you're going to make look really good and going to make them have a home run by giving them a solution that fits their needs. An internal coach is critical in winning a deal, and it takes a lot of work to find them, but you'll know when they come to you and say, look, I can help you out. That's the person you want to work with, you want to leverage, and you want all that inside information you can't get any other way in the company. The next step, number 3, is uncover the needs. What is driving the customer to want to make this purchase, to want to look at a product? What are their needs? What are their frustrations? What are they trying to resolve? What's the problem? The next one, what are their objections? What are their concerns? What have they seen in the past? What do they look like? What do they not want? That's critical, what they do not want, so you don't go down that path. You've got to make sure that they understand your unique strengths and what you bring to the table. You have to add value to get their time, to share with you what they're looking to do and how they want to do it. You need to identify the main contacts and the influencers, but also the decision makers. At the end of the day, who's making the call? There's a lot of times you'll work with a customer and the person you're talking to, they're not the decision maker. They're 2 or 3 levels up or sideways. They're the person gathering the information. You have to figure out, and a lot of times your internal coach can help you, who's making the decision and how do you get to them. The next one is gather your data. Removing red flags. Do they have any preconceptions about your product or your solution that you need to know right up front and get those eliminated so you can move forward with your process and your solution? And again, you need to gain agreement to move to the next step. But uncovering the needs is critical, because if you don't know what the customer wants, there is no way you're going to give them the solution they need. Step 4 is a product demo. So we all have demo units. We all send them out every day. That's great. One thing you need to know is you need to let that customer know when you send a demo unit, I have resources that help you and support you and can answer any questions you have. If there's a problem, if there's a technical question, come to me. The next step, you have to tell them about your resource and establish the credibility. Can they trust them? Do they know what they're doing? Can they help that customer solve the problem? That's critical. The only way you're going to get a demo done is if it works for them. The only way it's going to work if they have a problem is they have somebody to call right away who'll get on the phone and step them through it and make it work. Also, bring in references to satisfied customer. We talked about it there earlier in prospecting. The best reference is another customer. Always have those ready. Always bring them in, because they're always going to say, well, who's used your product? What have they done? How did it work? Who can I call? Customer references are critical. Good customer references are the only ones you want to use, but you need customer references. We usually try to bring in at least 3 in every deal, at least 3 good, solid companies and names of companies that anybody would recognize in the world. We brought them in. Charlie talked a little about this. Create a sense of urgency. They need to understand we're working on this. We got the solution. You want to get them to focus on your product and your solution versus some competitors. You want to give them a demo unit. It can't sit for 6 months. I'll give it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, but you've got to look at it. You've got to test it. It just can't sit in the corner. You need to validate their decision criteria. What are you looking to decide? What is it you want? What does this product need to do, and what need does it need to solve to go forward with it? Again, you're always, throughout the whole process, positioning why you're better and why your company and product are better than competition. What do you bring to the table that nobody else does? What makes you unique? What's your unique strength? You need to bring that forward. And again, you have to gain the competitive edge at each time. Gathering feedback. This is really important. Once you send a demo unit out, you need to figure out who tested it, who touched it, who looked at it, what's their feedback. Each person you need to go through individually and talk to them about it. How did it go? What did you do? What did you like? What you didn't like? If any problems come up, you need to quickly fix them immediately. Get them the tech support they need. Sometimes if a bad product goes out, that happens. We'll get them another product away. But you've got to resolve all issues quickly, and you've got to make sure they understand it. Once you get all the feedback, you've turned all the negative or neutral into positive, then you go and you meet with each of the decision makers and you review, hey, they looked at our product, they tested it out, they liked it, here's their feedback. You've got to make sure they're on board with your solution and they know and they believe you have, that the people in their team tested it and liked it. And then, of course, anytime through this, you have to answer all their questions and objectives and make sure they're all on the same page. One of the last steps of this one here is present and close. So you're going to review, what does the customer consider their home run? What are their needs? What are their wants? Why were you there in the beginning? What did you come to solve? That's what you're doing. You have to make sure you, and I think Charlie talked a little about the exceeding the needs with Richard Branson. Not only meeting needs, it's exceeding the needs. You have to guarantee the customer on their rollout there's no surprises. You're going to do what you committed to do. You're going to do what they asked you to do, and you're going to do it right, and they're not going to get surprised. The worst thing you can do is have a rollout than not have it happen properly. It'll come back and haunt you forever. You need to summarize all your benefits, your strengths, your solution. You need to get the customer to agree that you've got the best solution they've seen. You've got to work with them, show them and prove to them, I've got the best stuff. You got to get them to agree. Once they do agree, you ask for the order and you close the deal. It's really critical that you get that customer to tell you, you've got the best stuff. I like your stuff. It meets my needs. We want to move forward. The last part of the sale is post-sales and partnership. Closing the deal is just a start. I'm going to give you a quote because Lou Platt was a HP, a CEO at Hewlett-Packard, and I brought him in on one of our major deals. He happened to go to the same college as the CEO of the company we were working with, and we got him involved. He called him, and I said, hey, Lou, we won the deal. Thanks for all your help. He said, you know, Ted, the real work starts now, which is critical. Closing the deal is great, but it's the rollout, it's the follow-up, it's support, it's making sure the customer is happy that makes all the difference, and it makes this a reference site, and it makes it a long-term customer. You have to deliver on all your promises and commitments. This talks what Charlie talked about trust. You've got to say what you're going to do, and you've got to do what you're going to say. That's really critical. Then support, 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 support. Follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. You need to make them happy. You need to make sure everything is going smoothly, they're happy with the product, and you can make them a reference. You have to develop, with this, by the way, you can develop new opportunities. So there's many deals that we do a rollout over 3 years. If we did it right, the next time we did a rollout, beginning next 3 years, we won that deal because we earned the right. It's taking care of, improving, you've done everything you need. It's developing new opportunities. It's making that customer a customer reference site for the next deal you're going to work on with another customer. And then last, this is something that we always said. Hold on, that's not it. Never, 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 ever lose a deal without your manager involved. Never lose a deal without your manager involved. There's a lot of times you might come to a roadblock, you might get stuck. Ask for help. Ask for internal help, whether it be pricing, special resources, whatever it might be. Never, ever, ever lose a deal without your manager involved. That's the sales process. I hope it helps. It's a very short version. It's usually a much longer class, but I hope there's some value added for all you here.
Oh, no. I said I wanted 10 to 5 minutes. I wanted to get 10 to 5 minutes.
I didn't want to go over my 15-minute limit for you, so thank you, Charlie. Does anybody have any questions on the sales process? Anything I can answer for you? I think I'm pretty much out of time, but if not, I'm happy to answer it. Okay. Any questions? Did I put everybody to sleep? Okay. Thank you for your time.